and gentlemen, a very warm welcome to the first episode of the Aviation News by Nidhi and myself. It's a great pleasure starting this set of series where myself and Nidhi will be sharing with you some of the latest updates in the aviation industry, and throughout a collaboration of ours, we will try to connect the world in just one video and offer you a clear picture of where aviation stands at the moment, how the airlines are managing the COVID crisis, and much more than that. Now, we all know very well that aviation industry provides rapid worldwide network, and it's a kind of transportation network that makes everything essential for the global business. It generates economic growth, it creates jobs, and it facilitates international trade and tourism. We're going to stick to an aspect that I have mentioned over here, and that is called create jobs. We are very interested to know where aviation stands at the moment and how we can get on to our dream job. Now, one imperative for me and Nidhi is that throughout this series of aviation news in the form of a video, we will be releasing them every week, and you will be getting an idea of how things are progressing in the aspect of creating jobs in the aviation industry. But also something that I want to highlight over here, which is important, is also to ensure that you are well informed about the aviation industry worldwide. It is a crucial part of your general knowledge, of your cultural intelligence, and you never know when you might find yourself in a group of people where your information sharing and your knowledge of what is happening in the aviation sector across the globe will make people to be amazed by you. Now, when it comes to my part of the aviation news that it's conducted over here, I do that in conjunction with the Balkan Aviation News on the Instagram. Their Instagram account is over here. You may follow this amazing Instagram page for more updates coming from the Balkan area and Europe in general. So, starting with the aviation news, there is something very important which I want to share with you, and that has happened only a few days ago. It's called the new normal, or I called it the new normal has started. Now, on Friday, 13th of November, Lufthansa Airlines, the German carrier, has launched its first flight on which all passengers previously were tested negative for COVID-19. Now, this flight took off from Hamburg from Munich, flight number LH2058, which left Munich at 9 o'clock and 10 minutes a.m. on the 13th of November. Now, this has marked the start of COVID-19 rapid testing of 2 daily flights between the two metropolis. And now in this trial start, once the test was completed, customers received their test results within the short time by message or an email. Now, all passengers that were on the flight were tested negative, and they were able to start their journey to Hamburg. Now, all tests on the second flight from Hamburg to Munich that were conducted were also negative. Now, Munich and Hamburg airports are in close cooperation with a couple of medical care centers, which offers to the customers an opportunity to be tested for COVID-19 free of charge before departure for these 2 daily flights. Passengers who didn't want to wish to make themselves tested were transferred to an alternative flight at no additional cost. Only if the result of the passengers was negative, the boarding passes were activated and access to the gate was guaranteed. Alternatively, passengers can present a negative PCR test not older than 48 hours at the departure gate. Now, it is amazing how Lufthansa Airlines takes care of this rapid test procedure. There is no extra cost for the passengers, and all they have to do is just to register in advance and to allow a little more time before departure. This trial run is conducted with the rapid antigen test on the selected Lufthansa flight, and it has a positive and important signal for the entire aviation industry. And well done, Lufthansa. I think all the airlines will now be following this example. It's definitely something that we're all looking up to. Most of you, ladies and gentlemen, know that I'm currently studying master's studies in aviation management, and therefore I have created a small mini aviation management course for cabin crew, which is available on my YouTube channel, and feel free to check the playlist there. And we have a subject there which is called financial accounting, and I'm going to be elaborating that subject very, very soon. But the next news that I'm going to share it with you is connected to the financial accounting part, And in my next YouTube video, I will explain how financial accounting is closely connected to the aviation, but I am very sure that many of you actually have an idea that the financial accounting plays a crucial part in the aviation management. Therefore, this is the news. Norwegian Air has reported its third quarter in 2020 results. Now, according to these reports, the airline is heavily impacted from the COVID-19 pandemic with a net loss of 980 million Norwegian crowns. During this third quarter, approximately 1 million customers have traveled with Norwegian Air compared with the 10.53 million during the same period of the previous year. They have showed a decrease of 91% compared to the same period last year, showing a slightly improvement on the percentage because last year it was 99% net loss, now it's 91. However, it has been mentioned that Norwegian Air continues to successfully convert their debts and implemented a series of cost reduction measures throughout the third quarter. Now, the demand has been severely affected by the changing in the travel restrictions and the secondary wave that has been reported from the COVID-19 infections across the key markets, which led to the fluctuation and led to a decreasing in the demand for flying. Another interesting news which I would like to mention over here, it's connected to the Wizz Air, which is one of the best low-cost carriers in Europe. Wizz Air has bases across the Balkan in Skopje, Sofia, Belgrade, Varna, Tirana, Tuzla, and has a total of 180 destinations in the Balkan, but currently over 70% of them are suspended due to the COVID-19 and the restrictive measures caused by the pandemic. Only 40% of them are expected to resume later in 2020, but this is likely to change as more restrictive measures are being and will be introduced. Now, it is interesting to mention that the carrier biggest base is in Skopje, in the North Macedonia, where I'm coming from, and there they have 32 destinations across Europe, and but they, as I have mentioned, due to the second wave, most of them have been currently suspended. Wizz Air has opened new base in Tirana, Albania back in August, but now has suspended that base and 20 destinations from there. The carrier also opened 10 new routes from Belgrade, but it has delayed them due to the next summer in 2021.
Thank you, Julia, for your sharing. I am Nidhi, and let us continue sharing aviation news with more updates from the world of aviation. First up, will Jet Airways make a comeback? We all remember Jet Airways, once the shining face of Indian aviation, ran out of funds on April 2019 and subsequently declared bankruptcy. Despite partial ownership by the Etihad Group, no buyer came forward at that time to give the airline a second chance. After 18 months, it has been reported that Jet Airways officially has a new owner, an investment firm, Calrock Capital, and UAE-based businessman Murari Laljalan. Since then, the airline has been taking key steps to restart the operations, including hiring new staff and making fleet decisions. However, a few key hurdles remain before Jet can start flying again. According to the Times of India, the new owners have offered 53.5 million as startup capital, with another 87 million in the first year of operation. This 140 million cash injection will be the key to Jet being able to finance its revival, which will require new staff, aircraft, and paying down the debt. The plan ahead is to be a full-service airline, starting with domestic and going international depending on the slot allocation. Since its demise, full-service competitor Vistara has gone long haul, and low-cost carriers continue to dominate the market. To win back the market share, Jet will have to rely on its brand loyalty and strong marketing. The airline currently only owns 12 aircraft, out of which 3 are 737s and 9 are wide bodies. The plan ahead is to restart the airline with a few additional narrow-body planes in the next 6 months. We all know the key to any successful airline is the strong leadership. According to Business Standard former Indigo CEO Aditya Ghosh and current COO and President Wolfgang Prockschauer and other Indigo officials are under consideration. We should know more about Jet Airways' new leadership team very soon. The next few months will offer a lot more clarity about whether Jet Airways will make a comeback. However, for now, Jet seems all set to plan a return to the skies by early 2021. This definitely seems to be good news for all the cabin crew aspirants in India, and especially the ex-Jet Airways cabin crew members. In next sharing, can Singapore Airlines soar again? Singapore Airlines is confident of having very strong liquidity as it explores new sources of funds to tide through COVID-19, as sourced from Channel News Asia. Chief Executive Officer Goh Choon Phong has secured 11.3 billion in fresh liquidity in the last 6 months. This includes 8.8 billion raised through a rights issue and further 2 billion secured through long-term loans secured on some of its aircraft. Singapore Airlines, like many other airlines around the world, has been bleeding money due to a pandemic that has brought the aviation industry to a standstill. The company recently announced a record net loss of 3.47 billion for the first half of financial 2021. As it battles the biggest crisis in its history, Singapore Airlines has grounded much of its fleet and cut 4,300 jobs. I personally spoke to a few staff members who were let go, and they shared that company gave them a few months of salary to tide through, and also an assurance that when things return to normal, they would be given an opportunity to come back. The airline has also been seeking new revenue opportunities with home deliveries of its in-flight meals, providing 380 restaurant dining experience, conducting training center tours, and recently launched Singapore Airlines Training Academy. But as these are relatively new ventures, it would be premature for Singapore Airlines to provide any projections on how much this will contribute to its finances. Let's all continue to stay positive as airlines across the globe take strategic decisions to revive the losses and start operating at a desired capacity. In our last sharing for today, Cathay Pacific undertook a restructuring exercise. Will travel bubble open doors to more international travel? Cathay Pacific, which recently undertook a restructuring exercise that saw job cuts, and the Cathay Dragon brand axed, notes that November continues to be sluggish demand. Last month, it forecast that it would only be operating a quarter of its planned capacity for the first half of 2021, going up to 50% planned capacity for the rest of the year. Cathay is one of the two carriers, Singapore Airlines being the other one, operating special flights between the two cities under world's first quarantine-free air travel bubble. Cathay Group Commercial and Customer Chief Ronan Lam says that the flights under the travel bubble arrangement, which allows for a travel without a 14-day quarantine, has been met with strong enthusiasm from the traveling public. Opening borders is also important for these flag carriers like Singapore Airlines and Cathay, as they have been reduced to flying at just skeleton capacity because, unlike other airlines, they have no domestic market in which to operate. Last year, the Hong Kong-Singapore route was the 10th busiest internationally in Asia, according to OAG. Both airlines have suffered record losses this year. The Hong Kong-Singapore air travel bubble is a step in the right direction to reboot international travel in the region. IATA's Regional Vice President for Air Asia Pacific, Conrad Clifford, said, "We look forward to seeing this arrangement with other destinations and for other governments to adopt a similar approach." Now we all know travel industry is here to stay. Every airline and every government is finding ways to ensure that a safe travel happens because that is the need of the hour, just like keeping ourselves updated. So that's it from me today in aviation news. But remember, it is not a choice, but a necessity. If you want to succeed, to keep ourselves up to date with the latest developments in the industry that we want to be part of in future. Airlines today are changing exponentially with new processes in place. Strategies and decisions made will directly affect the recruitment. Keeping pace with latest developments will, number one, ensure that you get a competitive advantage over others in the job market. Remember guys, knowledge is power. Number two, it will enhance your communication skills, which will lend credibility to your actions and increase chances of success. As eloquence in communication requires a broad bandwidth, covering general awareness about industry, economy, and emerging trends, Julia and I have come together in this initiative where we will launch a video every Sunday on our YouTube channel covering news that you need to know across the globe from the aviation industry. All you need to do is to subscribe to our channel and press the notification bell so you don't miss out the next video. And of course, stay in touch with us on our Instagram. For now, signing off.